Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate 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 Vasudevaya.
Srimad Bhagavad-Gita ki.
Jai.
Okay, thank you everyone for coming to this, as Prabhupada would say, Sunday love feast. Very important. Whatever Srila Prabhupada says is very important. So I'm speaking tonight from 5th chapter, verse 16. So we can repeat the Sanskrit words together. Repeat after me. Yanina tu tad agyanam yesam nasitam atmana tesam aditya vaj jnanam prakasayanti tatparam. Okay, repeat after me. When, however, one is enlightened with the knowledge by which nations is destroyed, then his knowledge reveals everything, as the sun lights up everything in the daytime. A report by Srila Prabhupada. Those who have forgotten Krishna, no, this is the purport. Those who have forgotten Krishna must certainly be bewildered. But those who are in Krishna consciousness are not bewildered at all. It is stated in the Bhagavad-Gita, Sarvam Jnanam Panena Jnanasya Sunakamana and Nahi Panasyena Sudasa. Knowledge is always highly esteemed. And what is that knowledge? Perfect knowledge is achieved when one surrenders unto Krishna, as it is said in the 7th chapter. After passing through many, many births, when one is perfect in knowledge, he surrenders unto Krishna. Or when one attains Krishna consciousness, then everything is revealed to him, as everything is revealed by the sun in the daytime. The living entity is bewildered in so many ways. For instance, when he unceremoniously thinks himself God, he actually falls into the last snare of nations. If the living entity is God, then how can he become bewildered by nations? Does God become bewildered by nations? If so, then nations or Satan is greater than God. Real knowledge can be obtained from a person who is in perfect Krishna consciousness. Therefore, one has to seek out such a bona fide spiritual master and under him learn what Krishna consciousness is. For Krishna consciousness will certainly drive away all nations as the sun drives away darkness. Even though a person may be in full knowledge that he is not this material body, but is transcendental to the body, he still may not be able to discriminate between the soul and the super soul. However, he can know everything well if he cares to take shelter of the perfect, bona fide, Krishna-conscious spiritual master. One can know God and one's relationship with God only when one is actually meets a representative of God. A representative of God never claims that he is God, although he is paid all the respect ordinarily paid to God, because he has knowledge of God. One has to learn the distinction between God and the living entity. Lord Sri Krishna therefore stated in the second chapter that every living entity is individual and that the Lord is also an individual. They were all individuals in the past. They are individuals at present. And they will continue to be individuals in the future. Even after liberation, at night, we see everything as one in the darkness. But in the daytime, when the sun is up, we can see everything in its real identity. Identity with individuality in spiritual life is real knowledge. When, however, one is enlightened with the knowledge by which nations is destroyed, then his knowledge reveals everything as the sun lights up everything in the daytime. Om Agnanam Timirandasya Gnanam Shalakaya Chakshuritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhya Evacha Bhaktitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So, on every page of this Bhagavad-Gita, you'll find some information that you can utilize for your spiritual advancement. This is the nature of Prabhupada purports. Every purport, you'll find something there that will help you to what? Make spiritual advancement. That's why we're in Krishna consciousness. We want to find a way to make spiritual advancement very quickly. Because what? Our life is very short. Before you know it, we're 50 years old, right? Before you know it, we're 60, then we're 70. And it's only 20 more years left, right? So at first, in the beginning, it seems like, oh, life is going to be long, 100 years. But when you look at it, time moves very quickly. You don't want to be left behind. So we're in Krishna consciousness because you want to find out what is the genuine path. How can I do it? How does it attain? What is the attainment? And how do I get it quickly? And not get trapped in the snare of what's going on. Obviously, there's some illusion that is called Maya. That means that the illusion is so great that it can capture you without you even knowing what has captured you. So fantastic, the illusion. And it's simply due to being outside of Krishna and Krishna's love and Krishna consciousness that we become subject to that illusion. And what is that illusion? That we're this body, that we're getting old, we're getting sick, we're dying. That's illusion. You're not getting old. You're not getting sick. The body is sick. You're not sick. You're not old. You're not dying. There's a delusion that's created by the material energy. For what? For people to invest in the illusion. I'll put so much into the illusion, I try to make it real, and we can enjoy to some degree with the illusion. That's a fact. We can enjoy, nice car, nice automobile, nice things, nice shows on TV, nice running around. So we can enjoy to some degree. We don't say that material life you can enjoy. We say, yeah, you can enjoy, but it's temporary. That enjoyment is going to come to an end. You put all your, like the saying is, you put all your eggs in one basket. So you put all your time and energy into the material world and material life and everything like that. If you don't have Krishna consciousness, you're going to end up losing. This because why? The senses in the body, they can only enjoy for so long. And after that, it's like going off the cliff, After that, you're going off the cliff. So why should somebody intelligent put all the into that and not come to the real happiness, the real pleasures, the real enjoyment? And then we can find, as stated here, we have to meet somebody who is advanced. There's no question about that. If you don't have it, how can you give something you don't have? You won't be able to give something you don't have. And how do you get it? That's the next thing. How do I get it? Well, like anything else, if you go to buy a diamond, right, it's going to cost. Right? If somebody says, oh no, you don't have to get the expensive diamond, you can get a cheap one. You can get a false one, right? It looks big, it looks nice, everything like that. But if you go to see what the value is, there's somebody who says, oh, that's useless, no value. And if you want to get the real diamond, then you'll have to dig in your pocket. You'll have to pay for that. And so what do we have to pay in Krishna consciousness? What do we give to Krishna? What can we give? Can you give Krishna something material? Oh, Krishna, yes, something material. Yeah, Krishna owns everything, so you can't give him anything. You're thinking you're doing something for it. God doesn't need you to do anything. He has all these potencies and energies and everything there to do everything. He doesn't need it. You see what he's doing? What he's doing? Is he working to make everything? No, he's playing. He's jumping, he's playing with friends, he's with Radharani, he's doing everything. Do you ever see him working hard to lifting up? No. He doesn't have to do anything. And so, when you contact the bona fide spiritual master or the advanced devotee, you will get closer to Krishna. That is the way to actually become closer to Krishna, because you have to become purified, not just in eating, sleeping, mating, working, but we have to become purified inside ourselves as the right quality person. And that is not difficult. All we have to do is put ourselves where we're being loved. We're being loved and we're being cared for. That is the business of the spiritual master. And the spiritual master is just a representative of Krishna. We cannot see Krishna, but we can see the spiritual master. That's the beauty of spiritual life. We can't see Krishna, but we can see how a person advances in Krishna consciousness. They become more a beautiful person, they become more genuine in their dealings with others. You cannot become Krishna conscious if you're not aware of other devotees. And if you don't help other devotees. Any devotee that you help means that you help yourself also. You help yourself also because you learn how to love devotees. That's what you learn about loving Krishna, not directly, oh Krishna, oh Krishna. You won't see Krishna. First become purified. That's why Srila Prabhupada, what did he do? Did he say, you just take these books and go home and read? No, he made all his disciples live with him in the temple and train them every day, every morning, how to do. That's the way it's done. You cannot hide from that. You cannot hide from another person who is advanced. You always, that's why somebody who is advanced, we offer our respect to them. Because we know that they dedicate themselves and they have a relationship going on with Krishna. And we can learn from them. That's the only way to learn about Krishna, is through his devotee. And so it's very serious. Well, of course, we're all laughing and dancing and jumping and everything like that. But other than that, Krishna consciousness is very serious. Very serious business. And when that is tested, when you have to leave the body. When you have to leave the body, that's the day that you get the exam, you get the credit for the exam, Oh, you're getting an F, So that means that you're going, you have it elsewhere. But if you get a good high grade, then you get, what does that mean? You need a body that's spiritual. You don't need a material body. That's not your business. Material body is like the body of the prisoner. You have a material body, you'll definitely have to suffer. Even Srila Prabhupada, right? He had 2 heart attacks, he had this, he had struggles and everything like that. So once you have this material body, you will have difficulty. You will have to grow old, you will have to leave the body. But if you perfect your Krishna consciousness, in your future, you wouldn't have a gross body. You'll have a spiritualized body that you can associate with Krishna directly and enjoy with Krishna eternally. Why eternally? Eternally because All energy is eternal. Energy is never created or destroyed. It always changes from one to the other. So nothing is created, nothing is destroyed. So you're like that also. You're not created, you're not destroyed. But the main thing is to find the, what is that called? The ecstasy of transcendental devotional service. Transcendental ecstasy is what, we need. Is what we need. And you don't have to get it from someplace else, because that transcendental ecstasy is already there in your heart. That's the nature of a living entity, is they have this transcendental quality within them. But due to, in this material world, there's what is called the three modes of material nature. Each one of these modes you can fall into. If you're not aware of association, if you have bad association, then you will fall into the mode of ignorance. Or, darkness. Ignorance means you don't know what's going to happen. You're just going around and you don't know what's going to happen. Or the mode of passion is promising you'll be happy, right? Oh, I promise you. Somehow the promise is never fulfilled, right? And so that is the mode of passion. So generally people are influenced by this mode of ignorance and mode of passion. In the form of eating, in the form of being. If you're in the mode of ignorance, then you'll think all the wrong way. Instead of thinking in a loving way, I'll think in a hateful way. Instead of thinking something real, I'll think something false. And so this is the mode of nature, is very dangerous. In Krishna consciousness, we elevate to the mode of, that's called sattva-gun, the mode of goodness. It's very pure, very clear-headed, very clear consciousness, and that's what we need to advance in spiritual life. We don't treat anyone badly at all. We don't even treat animals badly. If we see a fly going somewhere, we're not going to kill it. Why should we kill it? Let it fly around. So that's the mentality of a devotee. Very loving, very caring for every living entity. That's something like Krishna is like that too. He cares for every living entity. When you become like that you care for every living entity, then you will be Krishna conscious. Then you'll be loving Krishna. So it's not just philosophical, it's practical. When you're in the mode of Krishna consciousness, then you're, like it's described here, it's like in the sunshine. You can see everything nicely, you can see everything clearly, you know what is what, and in the darkness, you're going to stumble and hit your feet, fall on the ground, all kind of things. So, and the strange thing about Krishna consciousness is that you could be born into it and you don't even know what it is. Or you could be born outside of it and come to know everything about it. So Krishna is not like, I don't want you, I want you. You make your own decision. And Krishna just accepts that. If you don't want to do it right now, Krishna is not like, oh, why you don't want to do it? Right? We never hear Krishna complain, oh, you're not Krishna conscious, I'm unhappy. No, but, you can do your own thing. But Krishna gives a warning, like, be careful with this, and be careful with that. Even if you're driving on the road, there's laws, right? If you say, no, I want to drive on the other side, you're going to get into accident. The laws are not going to change like that. So everything is available, for devotees in Krishna consciousness through good association. Just like when I met Srila Prabhupada, right, that was in 1973 for the first time. Prabhupada looked like he was in color, and everyone looked like they was in black and white. Right? He looked different from everybody else. And that's why people were attracted to Prabhupada, because he was a different kind of person. Very advanced, this is really beautiful. Usually we think beauty is putting on makeup, putting on eyes, putting on hair and all this stuff, right? No. Beauty is a quality in the heart. When somebody is beautiful in the heart, then they're really beautiful. That's Krishna doesn't say anything, but Krishna knows everything and does everything. He doesn't say anything. He just helps those who are serious. As they surrender to me, I reward them accordingly. So he's there giving the reward. And actually Krishna doesn't punish anyone. Why should Krishna punish anyone? People are punishing themselves anyway. He doesn't have anything to do like punish anyone. You punish your own self. Say, I'm going to do something to you, I'll stop breathing, So you can try to stop breathing, you'll hurt your own self. You cannot hurt anyone with that. So, in Krishna consciousness is the ultimate education. We go to the school to learn, math and English, and we graduate, we go to the college, we go to the university, everything like that. But if we're not Krishna conscious, then we're missing out on the whole education. We're missing out on real education. And education is something to prepare you for living, right? So education that prepares you for living in the spiritual world, this is real education. Not education that prepares you only for the material world. There's a lack of knowledge, a lack of insight. We don't expect the scientific community to find Krishna, right? By experiment, right? You can't find God that you'll determine how you find God. You won't find anything. That is called surrender. Surrender, we asked Srila Prabhupada, we said, Srila Prabhupada, what does surrender mean? At that time people were asking all questions, everything. And Prabhupada said, surrender means, giving up the fight and admitting that you lost. Very practical example, You give up the fight. Just like the pure devotee comes, when he appears, everybody puts their hands. It's like a stick up, everybody stick up, We all have to surrender. Somebody who's saying that we all have to surrender, it's nice when they're surrendered, isn't it? But surrender doesn't mean like I one-time surrender, I surrender to that service, No. You have to surrender all the time. And the attitude of surrender, and you'll get tested if you have the attitude of surrender. Somebody will say, can you come to this program? Can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? And you get tested right there. That'll be your time to jump over into Krishna consciousness by the test. If you pass the test, you'll be in Krishna consciousness. If you fail the test, you can always take the test tomorrow, another day. But Krishna's always testing. First he gives you something, and then let us see what he does with it. You use it to do something false, or you use it to remain humble and develop yourself, properly. But Krishna will give you something every time you associate with him. Every time you come to this program, if you're very conscious, you'll get something to take home also. It's not just something you come to see and like that. No, it's something that it's already, Krishna's already with you already. You're a great devotee, Krishna's already here already. And what is Krishna showing you? How to live among yourselves and how to treat each other. And when you learn that, you become a qualified person. You can also become a spiritual master. Don't think that you can't do that. You can do that. It just becomes gradually being fixed in one position and being determined, being steady. Then you'll find Krishna that way. You wouldn't find Krishna if you don't really, you ask questions. And after you ask so many questions, you get so many answers. Then what do you need to know? You need to know more? No. You need to surrender more, that's all. You chant 5 rounds, you need to chant 6 rounds. It's 6 rounds, you need to chant 7. But every time you keep pushing yourself more and more. Don't push yourself and feel like it's difficult. Oh, I can't. Don't push yourself like that. Because Krishna consciousness is joyfully performed. If you're laughing, you'll make advancement. Or if you're crying, you'll make advancement also. That is a secret thing in Krishna consciousness. Of course, crying, we don't like to do that, right? Me, I don't like to cry. I look ugly when I cry. Right? So this crying is a hidden thing. But you have to cry for Krishna also. Oh, not that you're a man never cries. No. We see Lord Chaitanya with tears in his eyes, right? So if he's, where's the tears coming from? Right? So he's teaching by example. Lord Chaitanya is saying, I'm fixed up, I'm enlightened, I don't cry. No. We also, Radha and Krishna also crying. So whether you're crying or you're laughing, you'll make advancement. But if you don't have any emotions going on, your advancement will be slow. Prabhupada said like the crocodile. The crocodile moves slow and thinking around. So we have to advance ourselves, and we have to find the ways to make advancement. Advancement doesn't mean like, oh, I'm advanced, I'm a big devotee. Advanced means I'm a humble person and a loving person. That's what advancement means. So sometimes it takes a while to learn things. You hear them, but you won't know them unless you practice them or unless you surrender to doing that, like behaving like that. So by behaving, we can change our character. We can change our quality, and we can become transcendently free from all bad qualities. And and we should, just like, and now in the world, Krishna consciousness is prospering all over the world. Why? Because it involves everybody. It's not like a religion that people belong to my religion. That is the advanced Krishna consciousness. That's why Krishna consciousness take off and nobody can reach a match with it. Why? Because we have the Supreme Personality of Godhead. People who say that they can find, they don't have to follow a spiritual master. They can meditate at home, they can eat properly, it's all nonsense. First of all, surrender to the process. What Arjuna was saying, what Arjuna say? That he was telling Krishna that he could go to the forest, he could meditate, he could take sannyas, he could be spiritually advanced, he doesn't want to fight in the battle, he doesn't want material things, he doesn't want all this thing. And what did Krishna say? Is that very nice? Krishna said, no. I want you to fight in the battle. So that's Krishna telling us too. We shouldn't hide behind the philosophy, we should fight in the battle. Take up your bow and arrow and fight in the battle. What is the battle? We're fighting in Krishna consciousness. Distribute Krishna consciousness and preach and defeat this nonsense that says you're the body. Defeat that. By your spiritual advancement, you'll be able to defeat that. Anyone you talk to. So that's why we have so many books, to study the books and understand the books and practice. Whether you're here in the temple or you're at home, you're in Krishna's arms anyway. But we come to the temple, why? To get association. We can always meet somebody that's better than us. We shouldn't be afraid of somebody better than us, right? This is Krishna consciousness. You are in the open. We want to see somebody better than us, don't we? We want that because we want to get what they have. This is Krishna consciousness. You won't get it any other way by going directly to the person. Directly to the person. Just like in 1972 when I joined the temple in Boston, I didn't know Srila Prabhupada was still alive actually. I just joined the temple because it was fun and it was chanting, it was eating Bhushara and dancing and all this crazy thing. So we had this little picture of Prabhupada, we had this painting of Prabhupada that we used to worship in the morning, the Mangala Atik and all that, and Guru. And that was very nice. But when I saw Srila Prabhupada for real in 1973, that changed everything. That changed everything completely. So this is the real thing, like it's described here, to find the person. The person that you want to find is, is hidden away. You cannot find them. I won't find. You won't find them. When Krishna desires, then you'll see that person. And then you become inspired by a person who is Krishna conscious like that And love flows from them. Love flows from them. Just like Srila Prabhupada, if you got close to him, you'd feel all the love that was flowing out of him. So that makes it real. So, we should always aspire for more and more good association. And learn how to, if you love devotees, then Krishna consciousness is going to be very easy. Very easy. But if you don't have enough love, it will be very difficult. Very difficult. If your love develops, you'll see all the good things in Krishna consciousness. You'll see all the people will be amazing. But if you don't have that love, you'll just be struggling, I can be somebody, I want to be better than other person. And then you'll never be better than other person. And actually that's the mood of a devotee, is that he doesn't try to be better than others. He just tries to serve others and to learn from others and to learn how to interact with others. So he doesn't like being better than others. And all these good qualities were manifest in the person of Srila Prabhupada. One person. Can you imagine how great a person Prabhupada is, not was? When you think of Prabhupada, when you talk of Prabhupada, you should use it in the present tense. Is. Factually. Once they're here, they're here. They don't go anywhere. And Srila Prabhupada is very successful in inspiring his disciples. Without being inspired, you won't make any progress. You have to see somebody that makes it work for you and brings it out in you. And that is what Krishna consciousness is. How it's transferred from one person to the next. This is this very interesting process, how that happens. But we have to make ourselves open to that. We have to say I'm a foolish person. I need to know this, I need to know that, I need to know this, I need to know that. Oh yes, Prabhu, let me do the service, let me do the serving. Not that just if some people are serving out the Bhushara, they're making more advancement than the people who are eating Bhushara. Right? They're the wise people. They're serving out. Prabhu, you need this, you need that, you need that. So, we in Krishna consciousness don't try to be the big thing. Try to be the small thing. You remain secure. As soon as you try to be the big thing, you can get what is Maya? When she looks over, the person who's carrying on. So we have to stay cool-headed. Try to remain very peaceful, full of knowledge. Never become angry or anything like that. Defeat anger. We should be angry with anger. We should be angry that anger is misleading us. That we should be angry about. But we shouldn't be angry at this person or that person or that person. Forget it. In Krishna consciousness, people, if you're a devotee, then people will see what is their behavior. Say we go to preach or distribute Krishna consciousness in the Harinam or anything like that. People look to see what is it about them, what kind of quality they have. And that's how Krishna consciousness advances, because people see that devotees have very nice qualities. If you look at the Harinam is just all different colors of people. So there's no question of my religion or my people. These are the contamination in actuality. They have to be removed. You have to think like, all people are my people. And all religion is my religion. Indeed, all religions, you must love God if you want to be in any religion, right? And because God is one, religion is one. So people have to get all this secret information instead of opposing each other and fighting over over what is known as the impersonal aspect of good. Usually people have that only the impersonal aspect, whether it is Catholicism or Buddhism or Islam, it's all impersonal. All impersonal. My impersonal is better than your impersonal. My nothing is more than your nothing, you know. So people have been falling into the foolishness due to what? Not having a bona fide spiritual master. When we say everyone wants to be a guru or a spiritual master, but Prabhupada says bona fide. Bhagavad-Gita as it is, not somebody they speculate what they do. You know. If you want to be a mystic yogi and want mysticism and all this thing, don't look towards Krishna for it. You know? You want magical powers, you want everything, don't look to Krishna consciousness for that. It's beyond that. And what is, they asked Srila Prabhupada, what is, some foolish person, but they asked Srila Prabhupada, what is your mystic power? What is your, what is your magic everything? Prabhupada said, my mystic power, I can make a non-devotee into a devotee. Actually, that's a great mystic ability. To just make one devotee or one pure devotee is a great achievement. And Prabhupada was so great that he had so many devotees. Prabhupada said one time that he always wanted a lot of children. And that Krishna had given him so many children. So many children. He was so happy. So in the beginning it looked like some difficulty, some struggle, but in the end you'll be in ecstasy, you'll be full of ananda. You just have to, Prabhupada told us, he said, if you have any difficulties, just grab onto my dhoti. Very innocent like that, Prabhupada was. And then your emotions can be in the right place to develop nicely and to find your unlimited happiness in loving Krishna. Unlimited happiness. Extreme happiness. We're not just persons who just want to be a little happy, right? A little happy, a little misery mixed together. That's the material world. We are very tired of that. The trickery, you know? So this is our opportunity to get into ourselves. All processes of enlightenment and in Krishna consciousness is the highest, topmost process for self-realization. And we can choose to want Krishna. It's Krishna who picked us to come to him. We may think we're the ones who are, but Krishna is the one who directs them. Just like the example is like I was on the train. I had some Bhagavad-Gita or something like that. But the mere idea that the vagrant person threw the magazine. And where did the magazine go? It didn't go, it fell right in front of me and facing me. So, the cover up. How could the cover be up and facing the right way? I don't understand. And the vagrant, he's like one of my spiritual masters, right? Because he introduced me to Krishna consciousness. So it means that we shouldn't look down on anyone. We shouldn't look down on anyone. At least that's what it said to me. Don't look down on anyone, because you never know where Krishna is going to come to you from. And so once you're in the association of devotees, then you should feel very safe. You should feel very sound. You should be very convinced. You only become more convinced when you're enlightened. But then, what enlightenment means, you can see it in a devotee sometimes. And according to their advancement, they'll carry a bright aura of peace and joy. And that's the development. You cannot pay for that somewhere. I'll give you some money to get it. No, you won't get it. You won't get it if you stay at home. I'm too tired to do anything. You won't get it. You have to come out into the battlefield and fight against the false ego. The false ego will be destroyed by this knowledge. And then once the false ego is destroyed, then you find your real self. You find your real happiness, your real bliss, your real ananda. And then you can live properly. And nothing will bother you anymore. So that is Krishna consciousness. And engage yourself properly. Make sure you're well read. You understand the philosophy properly. That Prabhupada said that he wants everybody to know the philosophy so nicely that you can explain it to anyone. You should know it that you explain it to anyone. Very nicely. And it's our responsibility to develop the Krishna consciousness. So when you give Krishna consciousness, it's not that you're just giving the knowledge, you're giving your realization also. You're giving something more than just the knowledge. That's why the spiritual master is something more than the book, you know. The spiritual master is like the moving temple, you know. Or the moving Ganges. You go to the Ganges, but this is, in the case of the spiritual master, the Ganges is coming to you, you know. He's the walking Ganges. And actually, if you had seen Srila Prabhupada, when he walked, it seemed to me like he floated off the ground. Very amazing. Like he floated off the ground. I never saw that anywhere. I've never seen that in anyone else. Except I've heard that in Narada Muni, right? And Prabhupada, he actually saw Narada Muni in New York Temple. So this is of course, a very advanced dimension, but we shouldn't be intimidated. We can get there. They give us the process, we follow the process, and develop the qualities, and that's it, we're there. Once you're in Krishna consciousness, your duty is to help other devotees and to help other people in the world. You should not just take Krishna consciousness and run with it, you know, ow! Grab and run, right? But no, we should, just like Srila Prabhupada, is an amazing person. But first he was tested, right? And going in the boat. Who is going to go on a boat for 3 months? You know, boats are like rocking, and you don't even know where you're going, and you don't have any money. So what do you do? And he passed the test. Because after the heart attacks he had and everything, the next day he said that the captain of the ship said that the Atlantic, he'd never seen it so calm. Prabhupada said if he had not spent some more time in the rocking, he would have left the body. So, please engage yourself properly. Remember that Krishna is here with you and showing you what he needs you to be by practical association with other devotees and developing your love for them and therefore your love for Krishna simultaneously. So I'd like to stop here and see if I can get a couple of questions. Maybe somebody has a question from the audience. I'll be able to answer that problem for you. Hare Krishna.
Anybody has questions? I remember the point Prabhu was saying, like, you know, to be really humble. I remember a quote saying, if you want to become an atom bomb, you need to learn to become an atom first.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Krishna consciousness is laughing, right? If you in the old days when I was a brahmachari, we used to be talking and laughing about Krishna so much that our cheeks would hurt. You know, so it's partly laughing and being happy in Krishna consciousness you'll develop. So it's not something sad, a sad story or something. But on the other hand, if there's no questions, what does that mean? You know, they're all well read, they all they know what they're doing already, what can be done, you know?
Yeah, no, again, all the instruction you gave was all clear and observed.
Oh, one question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for the wonderful lecture. There were so many doubts of mine that are cleared now. And I have a question. What is the meaning of true devotion according to Srila Prabhupada? And I have a second question also. What are the practices that a new devotee should focus more on?
Okay, so very easy. Real devotion means Krishna Prema development. If we do something for Krishna, we have to do it out of love. If we don't have the love, we can make a show of it, and gradually we can develop the love. Not like Krishna will not accept that. Oh, you have no love, so get out of here. We all have some love, where we have to develop it and keep a hold on it and look at it and see what it is, and the importance of that. Okay. And your second question?
For new devotees, what is the best thing to practice?
Oh yeah, the best thing to practice is humility. The best thing, because humility means that love will develop. You have to be very humble if you want love to develop. So humility, it just means that I'm ready to serve. I'm not like the big shot. I don't serve anyone, right? So it means like I'm ready to serve, and so that's one feature of love. Another feature of love is gratitude. So love has a lot of features to it. Very beautiful, very attractive. And we all have that. So we just have to develop it. It's like you have a garden. You have a garden, you can get seeds and put in the garden and develop the garden into a big, nice, beautiful garden. So your heart is like that. So the best thing for new devotees is you remember to read and study the books and know the philosophy so that you can explain it to anyone. Very easy. And they'll believe you. It's always believable when the person is ecstatic and happy. Of course, everyone will believe that. If somebody is talking about ecstasy, but they're not ecstatic, right? Then what is it, right? But if somebody is ecstatic, we don't have to worry so much what it is. Because we can see the ecstasy, so we know what it is already. So we have to get to that point, not just talking about it, but being that. Cultivating and developing, and in all humility, being like that. You can do it, just have to understand what it is and get good association. It's surprising, but good association does more than our practice. All right? Okay, so that's a very nice question for everybody. Okay, so everybody is satisfied?
One Prabhuji has one.
Okay, one more.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So my question is, what are the changes you find in your life which leads to a state of surrender?
Paramatmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan iti subjective. Right? That's a Vedic verse. And what it means that, it means the first stage is that you lose your identity with the body. The body will vanish away. Then you become full of light, spiritual light. You're part of the Brahma Jyoti. And that is called Brahman realization. It occurs in stages. You have to come through Brahman realization to get to the next stage, that is Paramatma realization. When you get to the stage of Paramatma realization, you can understand the super soul within the heart of living entities. And then as you make advancement on that level, you can get to the Krishna consciousness. Brahmatmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan. Bhagavan is Krishna. His expression is the super soul and the energy of Brahman. So that's the first thing that occurs. You lose your body identity. You don't lose it, you just give it up. That's the reality, that you're not the body. But you don't know that. You're trapped in the body. So when you purify the body, you can become free from inside the body. And that's the first big change that I noticed. And then after that, you'll notice that you have love for everyone, if you're lucky. And then you'll begin to be like that, actually. You wouldn't just say that, you'll actually begin to feel it and begin to be like that. And that's how it begins. But those type of levels to begin it comes from personal association. Somebody in Krishna consciousness, my experience is, you might be trying to love everybody, yeah, that's fine. But you won't make any advancement unless you're being loved. Because when you're loved, then you really know what it's about, And that's what Prabhupada did. He loved us, extreme love for us, and that helped us in Krishna consciousness. So there's a lot of features here that we have to take seriously and if we want to make advancement. Whatever you get today, you can take it on to tomorrow. Be aware of that. Make sure every day you get something to take to tomorrow. Never let a day go by that you don't say, I got something today, I can take on to tomorrow. It will be there. Alright, so everybody satisfied?
One more question.
Hare Krishna, thank you so
questions.
much for the nice lecture. So you mentioned that we should not get angry, we should defeat anger. But sometimes, people in this world, like crazy people in this world, and they do crazy things which
Yes.
make us angry.
Yes.
So what should we do in that case?
Not become angry. But you won't be able to do it unless you have some understanding of what's going on. And you have love. Love will also defeat anger. So we say develop the love that you have into a great love for your real life love for devotees and Krishna and everyone, all living entities. And then it'll be very easy. Maya will look at you and say, oh no, he's Krishna conscious, leave him alone, let's get out of here. And so the material energy will leave you alone if you're Krishna conscious. But if you're not Krishna conscious, then you become exposed to the punishment in material energy. That's all. So take it very seriously. This is not my religion, your religion. It is not for my people or for your people. So become wise, become free. This is the Vedic knowledge. Actually, there's nothing older and more beautiful than the Vedic knowledge. Actually, in actuality, there's nothing older than that. And all the religions, they come from that. They think like, oh no, we just pop out of nowhere. No, they all come from the Vedic source. And if you investigate in any religion, you'll see the Vedic authority is there also. Alright? So everybody's going back to Godhead? Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, and thank you so much.